Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Nicole, Nancy, Teresa, Deb, Dana, how's everyone doing? I'm back to wearing the sunglasses because my eye issue has flared up again. So, unfortunately, for the
Good night, Liam.
foreseeable future, I'm going to be wearing the glasses until my eyes straighten out again or I can get some help with that again. So that's why I have the sunglasses on. Back again, unfortunately. Hey, Luann, John McGinnis, Patricia, how's everyone doing?
Trisha likes your intro.
Glad to hear it.
Yep,
Thanks.
you're welcome.
Uh, Laura, how you doing? Yeah, Monday night. I know it's been a while. Last time we were on was with Marie Gilbert. Brian, what's up, man? We were Marie Gilbert, and we did the angel card readings and
I'm the boss.
the truth seeker. The truth seeker is here live in the flesh, in person. The truth seeker
And I'm the boss.
joins you. Oh, I can tell you stories, people. That was proven yesterday, all over again. Wish I could have videotaped that one. But anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Hope the snow didn't get you too much. And I know it's freaking cold, and tomorrow's going to be freaking colder. But
Let's not dwell on that.
oh, it's gonna be cold, man. It's gonna be real cold tomorrow. I don't like that kind of cold at
I'm
all.
not stepping outside that door.
That's good for you.
It is.
But anyway, we just finished. I don't know if you guys watched it, but we watched the second part of the Jason Hawes episode and JV Johnson of the Sterling Hill Mine. We literally just finished it, and then I heated up my beverage, and then I decided to go live. When we, when I was going back and forth with Jason and JV on the, we had no idea what happened during any of that filming. We were, if you've ever been to the Sterling Hill Mine, we were in the visitor center, which is where the snack bar is and all they sell the merchandise and the T-shirts and all that other stuff. We were kind of held up in there, except for the parts that you saw. We did go up in the tower with them. We did do the walkthrough. The tower walk was funny as hell.
Where you're scolding me not to go any further when you guys all went up those stairs.
I can finally talk about that part of it because it aired. It was actually early, the second day they got there, that Jason says to me, John, what do you think of this? And he showed me a picture on his phone of a face. And I could tell it was the tower. And I said, well, where is this? And he pointed up. He goes, that window right up there. And you could see it from where we were. You could see exactly what he was showing us in the photo. We could see. And I'm thinking to myself, again, I don't have the greatest vision in the world, but I'm thinking to myself, it may be just like dirt on the window that looks like a face or something when you blow it up, but even from the ground looking up, it looked like a face. So he's like, we're going to have to go up there to see what that is. And we're like,
and I kind of, and I did, I told you, I'm wondering if it was that thing that they hang down for Halloween,
So, I'm just going to spoil everything. Anyway, so we all go up there, and the trek up there, you saw that one building you go through. You got to climb a lot of stairs in that building. Then you get into the actual conveyor area, and there's parts of the conveyor area that's secure, but it's a little wonky. You're stepping on like the metal. They patched the floor with some metal pieces, and you're kind of stepping, and you feel as you're going. Then we opened up that side door, and we saw that we had to go up not one, but two or three stairwells, and it was like,
I did not go up.
Whoa. And that's where I was behind Jason, Sherry, and I think Mandy. I think
Mandy
I was
right
behind.
in front of you.
And Mandy was the one who was stomping her feet on all the steps going up to make sure that they were secure. And we were literally just holding on to the railings. And I don't like heights at all.
I can do it if it's inside and I'm not looking on outside, but if you get me outside, I am terrified of heights. I freeze. I get vertigo where everything starts to shift and move, so I create my own disaster. So as soon as we stepped out on that ledge, I turned around and said, and I went right back in, and you hear John like basically telling me you don't go wandering around, you stay right here. I don't want, because there's even a further, like we were only halfway through that conveyor belt, and John didn't want me going all the way because I love to explore, and he's saying don't do it because he was worried about my well-being, because I would do it in a heartbeat.
So we went up there and we saw the mannequin up there, and we all kind of had a laugh, and and then we went back down, and like I said, they kept coming in and out of the visitor center, changing batteries or whatever, and we had no idea what was going on the whole time. We did see them suit up to go into the underground basement area of the office, which again is pretty funny in that we've been on that site in the last 6 years, I would say
a lot.
30, 40, 50 times. I mean, we've had to have been there 40 or 50 times at least. And we were in those spaces way more than, they were in those 2 or 3 days. But it's always interesting when you watch those things. You're always wondering what they're going to capture and what they're not going to experience. We were even like that when we were watching them the first episode in the mine. We know how active the mine is, but on that day,
is it going to translate to them?
Is it going to happen? When they were there, they had a lot of stuff happen in the mine. We've also, and as well as the people who worked there, have experienced things in what they were calling the geotech building that had the big rocks and
the woman that's
where they
in the
kept
telephone
trying
booth.
to debunk where the oh no, that wasn't that building.
Yeah.
But the telephone booth and we were first told about that building by the director, who was not a paranormal guy. This guy's an engineer and a scientist as well. He's not one to tell stories.
Buy in that.
And he said, I saw a full body apparition, and he showed me we're in the back of this one room. It went from one opening through the room and into another doorway. Now, is that one of the more active places in the site? No. What?
I beg to differ. Not more active, but I will say this, is that in different times, because I've spent more time in there than most of the team has doing stuff, and that's the area, and I don't know if you guys saw where they walked down that one area, and there was like glass in there, and you saw boxes stacked up.
Right.
I used to be in that area a lot, whistling, shadow figures of like men, because that used to be another area where they used to go get ready, and it used to be
that was the original
shower locker area, and then they moved it over into the Zobel Museum now, where they walked into last. And I'd get whistling, you would hear voices, you would hear footsteps, and you would actually because I would do scrying in there, and all of a sudden you would see like shadow, I would think a team member or somebody was coming through, because all of a sudden you'd see like one shadow, two shadows, like they were walking by, going to work or coming back out of the mine to get ready. So it is a very active area, but having said that, it takes a lot of quiet time, and it's when you're not paying attention and you're not trying to communicate with them directly that they come out in that area, it seems. And it seems to be more of a residual than an actual intelligent kind of communication in that area.
Well, I know that the people said a lot of stuff about the ladies' room too. There's a bathroom in that hallway area that they've heard people either knock on the door or kind of walking by when they knew nobody was there. So again, not much captured in that episode in that building. And the office, I have been in that office way more times than anybody else. And I saw a shadow figure run right by me in that office and go down the stairs right in front of me. And again, that is, they didn't mention it in the episode. And again, they were all over the place. But that office, if you've been there, you know. If you haven't, you don't know. That office has side rooms that have beds in them. There's one upstairs, and then there's 2 rooms downstairs.
Isn't that hatch in one? Is that where that hatch is that's open?
Can I ever just finish?
No, I was just curious if that was.
Story, please. So,
sorry.
Did you hear me talking all during the whole scrying in the Zobel building?
No,
did I say a word?
I don't know where. I've never seen the hatch. I don't know where the hatch is.
I do, because as I was saying, I've been in that building.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was curious.
So the beds there are, they let people that used to work in the mine who don't live in Jersey anymore and come back to visit, instead of getting hotel rooms and stuff, they'll let them stay in those rooms for a week, couple of days, whatever. And that was fine up until 2 or 3 years ago, when people who were, again, these are miners, tough guys. One was an ex-football player. They started hearing things in the basement and seeing a shadow figure. And they would hear like metal banging in the room, and they would run out of there. And they refused to sleep in that building anymore, especially down the basement. So I've interacted with that person more than once, several times. I've seen the shadow figure go down the stairs and into that side room where the hatch is.
He's a bit intimidating, isn't it? Whatever's there.
Again, last time we were doing an actual event there, Tyler said that there were people down there in the one room, and from what they heard in the other room, if you know, there's a bunch of shelves with books on it and stuff, and there's offices that are locked. He said, these people said it sounded like people were throwing books back and forth at each other. Like there was people just flinging stuff, and then they went in that room and nothing was out of place. Nothing was going on. So Tyler, who's in the video, showed me that hatch, and the sensitive that they mentioned who said the mafia dumped bodies there was actually John Zappis. So that really wasn't mentioned during the episode. We were doing an event, and John was down that area with me, and he kept saying, I'm picking up on somebody here. There's somebody here, but I don't feel like they worked here. And I'm like, okay. So John is doing his thing with the echo box, and he says, and if you were there, you heard it and you saw it. And he said, I think the mafia dumped bodies here. And I was like, what now? And we got some weird stuff on the equipment when we started asking those questions. And I thought it was very interesting how they found pieces of cloth down there, the broken shovel. And now, yes, they're right. You would have to go down there with cadaver dogs to see if there's anybody.
Or you'd have to dig it out.
Or dig it out. And nobody goes down there. The spiders are more at home there than anyone. I don't know if they would ever do that.
What about the burnt? That it was burnt wood.
But there's somebody down in the bottom of that office area. And I'll tell you something really cool that happened to me on the top floor of that building. There's a guy who used to work there. His name was Tom. Tom is beloved by everyone. They all knew Tom. Everyone loved Tom. Tom was a great guy. We saw pictures of Tom. I think Tom's locker is in the museum somewhere. I was doing a couple of different sessions, EVP and Spirit Box, and I always ask him if he's around, because he said he'd be in the office a lot visiting. And literally on EVP, I asked who was here. I got the name Tom, and then on Spirit Box right after that. I got the name Tom. Yeah. So again, you watch these episodes, and again, they did their diligence. They were there for 2 or 3 days. You hope that they would experience what you do. It doesn't always work out that way. So we're watching that episode, and we're just like, God, they really didn't get a whole lot here. But even in the
Geo,
they did hear the footsteps.
Yep.
And they kept.
Which happens there.
Yeah.
And voices.
And that voice that they caught, where they were walking back in through that door, they were heading towards the mine again, and somebody yelled for help. I thought that
was loud.
Really, really.
And then when they came back in, and they were actually in a room where they have all these fluorescent lights that they turn on, and the rocks all glowed behind that glass. That's where you saw the black painted out like rocks and stuff, where it makes it really pitch dark, and where the little green piggy thing that was in there, that the light lit up green. That's where he was walking back, where he heard that other voice that they replayed. Nikki, you think the bodies were dumped in the lake?
But again, I'm not saying that happened or not. I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm just relaying what John picked up on.
Exactly, because we don't know.
There. So, the pickaxe thing, Tyler must have said that, because I don't recall.
No, I've never
heard the sound of pickaxe or anything in that building.
That's not my experience.
I know that Tyler's been in there a lot, by himself and at night and with other people. So Tyler's had his own experiences. But like I said, I thoroughly loved the episode in the mine itself, because they validated. So pretty much it was check.
The whistle,
check.
Intelligence, the residual.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things. But I real quick wanted to comment on Nikki's thinking the bodies were dumped in the lake in the mine. Funny thing is about that spring area of the body of water, that was only discovered only a handful of years ago. That was actually blasted out, and they discovered that body of water there. So it hasn't really been there for as long as the whole mine has been in progress and what it's become. It's been not too long ago, to be honest with you.
But it was, again, funny watching John shoot up into that thing, and they did it the right way. I mean, I wouldn't go down there. I was happy to see what was down there, because the last event we did, all we did was put a recorder on the steps, and we tried to do an EVP session, but it wasn't possible because of reasons beyond our control. ABQ, for those of you who don't know what that means. But we couldn't do the EVP session the right way. But I after seeing those 2 episodes, I really like to go back there soon and get back in there and film it again and do our own thing. I mean, we did it in the mine with us. We did kind of 2 parts. It'd be cool to do it in some of those buildings too, if we could.
Maybe I want to go back up to the top towers when it's warm. Don't wave me off. He did a little hand wave underneath, like, nah. And I'm like, yes, I want to do that.
But again, the first event we're doing there this year, which is March 29th, is with Juwan from the Ghost Brothers. And Juwan did a really good job at Camp Evans. He was really engaged and involved, and was kind of really, even with the EVPs, play that back. And he's got a good ear too. He heard a lot of stuff on the EVPs. So Juwan will be there March 29th at the Sterling Hill Mine for the meet and greet, and then the 4-hour ghost hunt, where we take people through all of those buildings and into the mine as well. So there are still tickets available for that. I have updated the website with our events only up to where we are now, which is the Sterling Hill Mine, March 29th. Everything before that is sold out. February 8th with John Zaffis, the Hall sold out. The 2 dates at Smith Cadbury are sold out. And now we're up to March 29th at the mine. And again, the mine itself is awesome. But like I said, it's like, we know people that went and I'm not going to say where, and I'm not going to say, but we know people that went to an event this past weekend in a place that is notoriously haunted, and they had, according to them, not a whole lot happen. There weren't a whole lot of experiences. So again, it's not one of those things where, man, you wish that everybody would get what you got. Yeah. But the reason we got what we got is because we've been in there 40 times or more. So every single time there is the chance that the mind is going to give you all that you saw with them and whatever, and the buildings are going to give you what you got with us.
Even on my worst night in the mine, I've not gotten
something. They're there. But even in, like I said, in the office, I was really surprised because I know the way Jason is, and I know the way they investigate. Basically just the camera, and they walk around asking questions. The office is tricky in the sense that time of year, November-ish, the heat's probably on in the basement. There are a few bings and bongs, and I'm sure that kind of turned him off kind of right away. But I know they did their diligence because, like I said, we were waiting in that room while they were gone for hours. And to their credit, and I give them all the credit in the world for that, because, he is who you think he is. I mean, he's not just a guy. We've seen people go in for less than 2 hours or whatever, and we thought to ourselves, okay, you gave it a shot, and if it happened, it would have happened, I guess. But to his credit, he is what you see on the show.
He gets it all.
Again, having that guy dress up in that hazmat stuff, John, and go.
And they didn't have that. That's the funny thing. They didn't have that with them. They had to purchase that to do that the next night because they discussed after they did all about that when they found out about it. And they said, well, if we're going to commit to this, we're going to go and get the stuff that's needed. So it's not like they had that on site. They actually went out after their first day there and got that stuff to do it that night.
And like you said, and that's cool in itself because it's just a claim. I couldn't validate any of that information. I don't know if that's true or not. But they said, you know what? We're curious. Let's see what's down there, and away we go. And I saw, we heard about the shovel, and that there was a part dug out, and we looked at each other like, like maybe, who the heck knows? Again, nobody's been down there forever and a day. I promise you that. Nobody's been down there, So it was cool to see what was actually down there because I sure the hell would never go down there.
No knowing that he found what you said, what was like an old bucket of lubricant or something that was down there, chemical bucket.
I can't read any of that.
Love watching you. Hi, John and Christine. Thank you both for your work. It's Ms. J. Hi, Ms. J.
So we like I said, I am considering going back there with us, with the group, and filming some stuff, in different areas just to see, because we've been in there so much, to see what we get, because I do think there is some.
It was us that started it off before we ever did doing the events there and just going in, and that led us to doing events there that we were blown away the first night we were there. The first night was the night that I got chased out of the mine.
There are very few places that you're literally there for 5 minutes and you're going, what is happening?
Yeah. You got a lot of questions.
The mine was one of the few places where we started at the end, and we were there 5 minutes and we were like, this is probably one of the most haunted places we've ever been. There's stuff. All of a sudden, it was like being in an amusement park, and they turned all the switches on for the paranormal, and there it was.
Yeah.
All around us, talking, footsteps. We were just like, whoa, this is crazy.
Well, here's the unique thing about that. Most of the time that we've been in there, there's a lot of water, a lot of dripping. The night that Jason Hawes and them were in there was the first time that it was the driest that we've ever seen.
A month and a half without rain.
After all the years we've been there, that's the first time we've ever seen that mine that dry. And yet they still got the voices.
They even got a voice outside.
Yeah. and actually had Jason's name called.
Yeah, that's in the mine. But even outside, they got a voice in this episode here. So, again, watching it, I was hoping to have them have more experiences like we had, especially me in the office. I love being in that office because I know he's there. I know he's there. And he's scared people out of. They have a trailer now. People don't even ask to sleep down there anymore. They have a trailer in the back. If you go down the trail, there's a trailer now where the people sleep. They don't sleep in that building anymore because of that person.
I mean, these guys that we know, that John and I know that come to the mine that were miners there, these are big guys that they're not afraid to go walk out into the mountain. They're not afraid of the bears that are there. They're tough, manly men. And this one guy is an ex-football player, and he literally, when all this stuff started happening down there, when he was sleeping down there, he actually brought a bat and was sleeping with a bat. Think about that.
Yeah, what was a bat going to do with?
And then it progressed. It just didn't get better for him. And he was just like, I can't do that anymore. So then they had a trailer right outside of where the office is, not far from the office. And then that trailer got moved up and over away from the building. So that will tell you how intimidating it was for these guys that work in these mines in the dark and not afraid.
Yeah, the voice in the hallway definitely said help. It was help. I mean, it was like, wow. So again,
that just made me think of the time that I was in the mine cleaning up after an event, and I had a couple of people that were in the mine with me, helping me, and they all heard it too. That's what makes it so great, that other people heard it besides me and got freaked out. We were removing these candles that I put in the wall that looked like dynamite just for effect, and all of a sudden we heard boom, and then we heard a male voice go, fire in the hole. And we just like stopped dead, and then we're just like, oh, it freaked us out. It had to be one of the team members letting us know, hey, like, this is over, let's get going. And we walked out, we checked, there's nobody, and that freaked us out more. So we hurried up back in, and we grabbed everything, and we ran right out as quick as we could. Then when we checked with all of the team members, they're all laughing because, like, nah, we were all busy doing what we had to do. None of us were over there. So that was actual a live voice that we all heard as clear as day. You didn't have to think about it, and we all knew what it said.
So again, our first time back there for a public event is going to be with Jawan. That's March 29th. Email NewJerseyParanormal@yahoo.com. You have to spell out New Jersey Paranormal, just those 3 words, @yahoo.com. Nothing before the New Jersey or after, just New Jersey Paranormal @yahoo.com for tickets for that event. And again, after watching both of those episodes, I am jonesing to just get back in there with just us again.
Yeah.
Just to see.
I can't wait to do it.
What we see.
I got to be honest with you. I can't wait to go into the mine with Jawan and do some experimentations and isolation.
See what he gets and he runs out of there.
Karen says, hi, Chris and John. Loved your experiences have been validated. We are too, Karen. We're it's exciting to see somebody else here.
Especially Jason Hawes. I mean, Jason is kind of one of the most respected guys in the field as far as debunking and all that other stuff, and very bare bones rooted investigator, so to have him come and experience the stuff and say, wow, that mine was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That made us go, wow, thank goodness, because we know we weren't making it up. We know what we experienced. But again, is it going to happen or isn't it going to happen?
Put this into perspective. The claims are whistling, voices.
That's all the mine.
Footsteps, lights, the talking and the background and stuff. the residual booms, the growl. Oh my God, let's not forget about the growl, like what I said before. And all of these things were validated. They had those experiences. And again, think about that. They had those experiences all in one night. All in one night.
Yeah, it was hours.
So how do you tick that off all in one night like that?
Yeah, that was hours.
That right there blows my mind. Where does that happen?
Yeah.
Where we've gone and done investigations where people said this and this and this and this is going on, and we may only have one thing that they said happened, maybe if we're lucky.
Yeah. So again, I got to figure out how to make that happen, because getting access to the other buildings isn't as easy as accessing the mine for us, because the mine is easy. We have a key to the mine, so we could just drive up there and open the gate, lock the gate, and then go into the mine and lock the mine. But the other buildings require access, so I got to kind of figure that out, how to do that. We had something cool happen. Again, I don't know if she's
Donna
watching.
Just said it, that there was the growl that was by the basement by that trap door.
Yeah. Oh, and somebody was standing right there when it happened. But something else really cool happened. We had to go to a meeting, the expo, where one of the VIP parties are going to be held somewhere else this year. And we're really starting to get into the expo finally, making celebrity announcements. We've already announced Ghost Hunters, Ghost Brothers, Adam and Amy, Katrina, and we've got several others kind of lined up, that we're going to hopefully be announcing this week or later this week. Fingers crossed. But it's been a slower process. So, and then we heard that the VIP party, the location wasn't available on that weekend for one night like it has been every other year. That was another thing. So we toured another location. Everything went well. Buildings are going to be perfect. So from there, we decided to go, because it was in Woodbridge, to the Woodbridge ShopRite. And personally, not that it's a bad store, I don't like going to the Woodbridge ShopRite, because when my mom was alive, my mom lived in Woodbridge, and every week or two, I would take my mom food shopping at that ShopRite. And I love you, Mom. I hope you're resting in peace. But she was a major pain in the what to shop with. She took her time and went down every aisle and looked at everything. We literally spent 2.5 hours in that store every single time. And there were times where I was just like, Ma, I know exactly what you get. We do this every week. Let me go run and get like whatever from down there. You get from whatever from over here, and we'll finish in like half the time. No, I don't know what I want. I may get different stuff this time.
She sounds like you.
Okay, Ma, whatever. So I don't like going back into that ShopRite, because I was explaining to my son today, going back in there, I immediately get depressed. Yeah. Immediately. I remember every place my mom was in that ShopRite. I remember going to the Dunkin' Donuts right over to the right. I remember her going to the right to look at rolls and bread. And I remember her going to look at her chocolate, her little, snacks. I remember her going by the deli. Every inch of that store is a memory of my mother. Every inch. And I get really sad and depressed being in that building. I really do, because like I told my son, all that stuff that was mundane and such a pain in the ass for me, every weekend, being in that store without her, all I can think about is I would kill to be doing that right now with her. You know what I mean? Just one more time. So we're in there and I'm depressed, and we're walking around and we're looking at different things. And I go by this woman who, she's standing in like the frozen section. There's, doors on either side with the stuff in, on the shelves in the frozen section. She's standing on one end, but there's people on the other looking at stuff. And she was looking at them as if they were blocking her. And I just wanted to get by everybody and get down the aisle. So as I passed her, she looked at me and she had a smile on her face.
And she had done that
and
with
I
me
just
too.
and I just looked at her and I smiled back and I walked away and I thought she's like looking at me like, God, could you imagine these people blocking this thing? Nobody else can get in there. So we go walking down and I meet up with Chris at the end of the aisle and this woman comes walking over. I think her name was Lori. Forgive me if it's not. I'm horrible at names. And she said, I thought that was you. She said, when Chris walked by me first, I thought it was her, but I wasn't sure. And then you came by, she said, and I knew it was the two of you. She said, I just want you to know I watch all your live streams. I live in Woodbridge and I try to go to the Baron, when you guys are there every year.
Yep.
Really, really nice, really nice person. And it kind of took me out of my funk because in a way, it was almost as if like my mom kind of not made that happen, but just kind of something happened that intervened to get me out of that and pull me out of that little bit of a spiral. And I was happy that that woman said that. And she was talking to the two of us for a while and said, okay, I'll be watching. And then she left. Really and that kind of took me out.
Very nice person.
Yeah. And we left and we went back home. But that was really, really cool. When we go into Woodbridge, that's happened a few times because we had a cable access show in Woodbridge. And we've got into Woodbridge Walmart or Woodbridge ShopRite, and people are like, the paranormal people that used to do that show. And we're like, yeah, so it's kind of cool.
I think the funniest thing that ever happened when we were at the Walmart was some guy was calling John's name. John, and we're looking around because when you hear your name, you expect to turn around and see someone that visually. And finally we see this guy calling John's name, and he goes, "Do you know him?" And I go, "No." And I go, "You know him?" And he goes, "He's not recognizable to me." And I was just like, I don't know who this is. Well, it turns out he's a guy that watched us on Facebook, and he watched us on cable access, and he just started talking to us like he's known us.
He was a stranger for sure. And you never know with people, especially with social media and whatever. And he looked at me and he pointed at me and he said, "John Ruggiero?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, you're," and I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, I was almost like, "Yeah, why?"
He was waiting for confrontation.
Yeah, I don't know you. How do you know me? Type of thing. And he was like, "Oh, I watch it." I was like, "Oh."
And then your guard came down and you guys were talking. And,
you never know. But anyway, so
it was funny.
And like I said, another cool thing that happened. There's a place I keep talking about that I've been wanting to get in for years, and we were approached at the German club about coming in there, and it's gonna happen at some point, probably within the next month or so, if I had to imagine. It's just a matter of, can we film it in any way, shape, or form or not?
Yeah.
It has to go through approvals, and they're not sure anything can be filmed, which I understand because it's not a residential location and it's not a place that wants to be, I guess, put out there that they could be haunted, but a lot of people have experienced stuff there. So I'm looking for, I just want to get in that building.
You've been wanting
I have such a feeling
years.
And I'm going to be so disappointed if nothing happens in there, because in my mind I've built that place up over the last, probably since I was 20 something. I've driven by that building and been like, something's in there, something. But I am the truth seeker. So,
and I'm the leader.
Who would know better than the truth seeker?
She said I'm a leader. You said I'm the boss.
See, leader is very loose definition. You know, there could be good leaders, there could be bad leaders, there could be
you cannot say I am leaders. A bad or
there could be
leader.
So leader doesn't mean truth seeker now. That is very definitive, and that
because you need to find your truth.
There's no gray area there. Truth seeker. Boom. That's it. Leader, well, yeah.
I know.
Good leaders, bad leaders, lots of those.
Wait, do you see how he bashes me?
I'm not bashing. I'm
So
just saying
wait.
the definition.
So you have the good aura. I have the bad aura.
That's been proven.
You have the great, like he doesn't believe in having a spirit animal. So he had. What did you have? The panther as your leader.
I was
I know, and I had an ostrich. So you know he was laughing about that. You know that's you know. So he keeps ticking. John keeps a little resume of little tick, 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 where he's comparing and he puts himself as the winner in all of the checking of the boxes there.
Now, my mom wasn't even the coupons. I wish it was the coupons.
My mother was. My mom taught that. My sister Kim is like, this woman knows how to get the best out of a buck.
I'm just saying, my mom was not the coupons. There were no coupons. It was just her literally going down aisles, picking up something, looking at it, and then putting it back. I'm like,
yeah, you're not I used to do coupons.
Hey, you know me.
Coupon. If there are even coupons out there anymore,
patience.
I don't even think that even a thing. I remember buying the Sunday paper
just
to get the coupons. I'm just saying.
We're not getting into coupons.
Hey, Jay.
I have.
I'm going to say.
Well, I have zero patience. I have none. I cannot. I am not a good waiter.
Some would say a negative patience.
Oh, I am not a good waiter. I can't wait for anything. And again, because especially when it comes to like food, I'll tell you what happened to me today when it comes to food. I like my food hot. Again, another thing like my mom. My mom liked her food scalding hot. No matter what she ate, scalding hot. I'm like that too. That's where all the flavor is, when it's hot, like to where it's burning your mouth. And something simple as pizza, right? Pizza. I go out with my son. He gets like some chicken panini thinger, and I got 2 slices. They put my slices in before they go to make his sandwich. And I'm sitting there with my son, and he's thinking that I'm just being difficult, like some people think. I don't know why. But I'm saying to him, my pizza's been in that oven the whole time. And he's like, no, they're waiting. They're waiting until my sandwich is ready. And then they're going to put your slices in so it comes out at the same time. I'm like, I saw them put it in the oven, but I wasn't 100% sure, but I thought I did. Here comes this young woman, and she was 16, 17, with 2 picked pieces of charcoal with meatballs on them, and puts them in front of him and goes, yeah, they're a little burnt. I said, a little burnt? And she goes, you don't want them, do you? I said, I'm not touching these. No way. I paid for them already. And what, those were the last 2 slices of meatballs. And then I'm like, I didn't really want. And John said, my son's like, why do you got to be so difficult? I'm like,
that's not difficult.
I wanted the meatballs. That's what I ordered. And they just left them in there.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's called not preparing in time and things. I cannot stand anything that's burnt. That's
these were charcoal broiled, man. They were just, anyway.
Luann, I actually have some of my mom's green stamp books that have the green stamps in them, believe it or not. Isn't that crazy? That's an old day. You probably don't even know what that is.
I do, but this is.
Oh no, I just saw that. I thought that was like.
Okay.
Hey Jay.
What's up, Jay? So anyway, like I said, the Sterling Hill Mine, if you want to come, Jawan will be there. There's going to be at least 5 investigations there this year, one of which will be on Halloween night. We are doing a Halloween night event at the Sterling Hill Mine, which should be really cool. I don't know if we've done one Halloween week there. That's where we wore the Ghostbusters.
Yes, we did.
But we've never done a Halloween night investigation at the mine.
No, never.
Should be pretty cool. Like I said, we're going to have kind of special guests going as we get into the year and we line things up. But I do want to do a few investigations before we start getting heavy into doing events. I'd like to, again, the mine being one of them, just taking a drive up there, even if it's on a weeknight, and just going in there like we did that one time, and just, and picking some other places to go and,
Yeah.
maybe do that again to kind of make the rounds again, so we could either do it live or we could film it and then stream it and, talk about it. We can do it either way,
Well, if I can get Tyler to go up to the tower with me, can I go up and investigate and film up there while you guys are doing in the mine or what? It's what I want to do. Why you say no? You don't want to do it. I do.
You're gonna wait till the weather's warmer. You're not gonna do that.
That's what I said. When it's warmer, I want to do that.
Anyway.
Yeah, a sleepover on Halloween night.
Yeah, that's a Friday night. I don't know if a lot of people would do that. That'd be kind of cool though. But yeah, I don't know if people would do that. But
well, if it's successful, the one you're doing in what? June, May? When's the first sleepover you're doing?
June. I got to figure it out. I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, so around that time period, if that's very successful, then maybe you could do it also for Halloween night.
So I am a person. I'm going to switch gears, or she's going to get bogged down in one thing. I am a person who, I used to be the same way when it came to the ghost hunter shows. Like, no matter which shows I would watch, whether it was the Ghost Asylum guys or Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventurers or any of those shows, I'm the type of person who talks to the screen and comments a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't watch really anybody else's live streams. I really don't. I kind of make it a habit not to, because everybody does things different, and I respect everybody's opinions and how they do things. Everybody has their own ideas, their own theories, their own methods, and I don't preach to anybody that they're doing it wrong. I may not agree with your logic or how you're doing things or what you're using to do, but I'm like I said, I'm gonna tell you what I think the best way for me is. Everything I say, I'm not preaching about how to. I'm saying how I would. That's all I've ever done. Mm-hmm. When I do my lectures or when we come on this thing, you may totally disagree with me, and you have every right to do that. You may totally do it a different way, and you have every right to do that. And I'm watching another live stream, and I'm listening to the conversation, and I'm literally like talking at my phone because I'm just listening to, and like I said, respecting people's points of view and how they do things, and based on their experiences, just like it's based on mine. But I really do wish that people would just admit that they're kind of more open to a lot of different things as far as experimenting, communication, equipment, all that other stuff. Yes, there's a right way and a wrong way to use the equipment. No doubt about it. 100%.
And it helps to know what the equipment's for.
You have to know what the equipment is for and what it does. 100%. There is a wrong way to use the paranormal equipment, for sure. But you have to be open to the idea of what is known, what can science prove, and then what is the unknown. We talked about this before, and I'm going to give this guy credit because he's a friend of ours, Dan. Dan's a scientist. Dan gave a really, really good answer. He was talking about when scientists try to prove or disprove something, they kind of have a pretty good idea of like the elements and the conditions and all the variables that they're dealing with on either end, and they're looking for a result and they're testing it multiple times. But what do you do in the case of the complete unknown, which is the paranormal and the afterlife? What can you really prove? And they were right in respect of maybe the technology is not there to definitively prove the existence of spirits and an afterlife and document it the way you should beyond a
in the
question.
eyes of science.
Yeah, beyond question. But on the other side of that is everything that we've learned as humans throughout time has been through experimenting and trying different things, trial and error, and all that stuff, and being open to new ideas and new theories and new methods. That's how we've advanced, you know. And I think with the afterlife and the quote unquote spirit world, you sort of have to treat it that way. It's sort of, you know, I get that there are the quote unquote purists. And again, watching Jason, who I respect more than anybody in the world as a paranormal investigator / researcher, very basic guy. He goes around with a camera and just openly talks and experience what he experiences. I respect that. That's not the wrong way to do it at all. But in my opinion, again, you've got to be open to, and I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's tried different things and it just didn't work for him. But I think you've got to be open to the idea of, if you know how things work and you're using them in such a way that there could definitely be some interaction going on there that is more than just random things happening.
But like you've always said, you wouldn't just take one piece of equipment and just say, just based on that piece of equipment, it's haunted, I'm having communications. You would build upon multiple different things and other experiences that would compile upon to add on that the possibility of something being there.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't just take a REM pod, and if the REM pod's going off, oh my God, we've got a haunting. You would keep doing things to keep testing and to push, you know, you'd use other equipment in conjunction with, you would move things around, I mean, you would try to do different things to get responses.
Here's the truth. The truth is nobody has any idea. Let's assume for a minute that the afterlife is real. And let's assume for a minute that it's a parallel dimension, or it's a different plane of existence than we now exist on. Why would we assume that all of those same rules that apply to living human beings here apply to there? Why would we make that assumption? We're talking about transitioned energy, and we're no longer human beings at that point. Why wouldn't we assume that if somehow you're plugged into the afterlife, and let's say it's all some big cosmic energy, universal, infinity, whatever thing, what's to say that spirits aren't capable of manipulating every single thing you put in front of them?
But again, what are rules for? Here in our world, what are rules for?
Yeah, but what's to say that they're not capable of manipulating cell phones? And just because, why? Because they're from the 1800s?
Right.
Not up there or out there. They may not be.
But,
you know?
Again, rules. Everybody talks about rules. There's rules. Rules. Who says there's rules in the afterlife? Rules were man-made for orderly conduct and control. That's what rules are for. It's to keep decorum. It's to keep, where would we think that in the afterlife, and I'm not saying that there aren't any, I'm just saying, but why would we think automatically that there are rules and there's certain things that have to be followed for communication?
Well, you know? I again, from a logical standpoint, and again, I made this point at the German club, and I make this point at lectures that we do. It's almost, I almost take it, and I do take it very, very personally when people kind of narrow communication down to, it's either this or not that, or not that, not that. It's either this and this, or not that. If we really lived in that world where communication would have never developed between human beings and technology, from, again, to inkwells and feathers to cell phones and computers, and nothing would have evolved if we didn't keep trying.
Somebody's always pushing the envelope,
the limits, and use all that. And we're only using what's available to us that we know as living human beings, based on the science that we know. Yeah. Again, that Neil Tyson DeGrasse, I get his name wrong all the time, the well-known physicist, he was saying, like, dark matter makes up like 70% of the known universe, and they don't know how it works. And so that leaves, like, how much of a percent do we know and can we prove?
Well, we don't know half the things that our bodies and what DNA and pulling apart and different things. So I go back to the same thing, that back in the day, the individuals that would go out and they would get bodies, and they would cut them up, and they would, like, label the hearts and stuff, and they were considered grotesque, sick, macabre, morbid individuals in society. But that started what led into the difference that built up on our medical science that created how we learned how the body to function. But in the time period when it was started and people were doing it, it was dark. It was evil. There's something wrong with you for doing that. You shouldn't do it. But there are always things that people do outside the box that ends up leading to furthering technology, knowledge, and what opens us up to more to understanding. And once you start closing your mind and saying, this is how things have to be done, there's only one way, and that there are rules to what you can do, then we limit what we can actually find out and learn and discover.
Yes.
It's true.
I like your surgery.
But that's what they did when they started doing anatomy and
yeah, but I'm talking more about communication.
I'm just saying, overall, in the world of it's an example, that overall there were boundaries that were pushed by somebody. Somebody pushed those boundaries that weren't crossed before, and they didn't do it in a way that was acceptable. And this is what happens sometimes. Sometimes people get uncomfortable when somebody else is doing something differently than what they think you should be doing.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of uncomfortable. I think it's a matter of...
I'm saying a nice word.
I think people get locked into their beliefs and their ways and their methods and what their ideas of proof and documenting and all that is. And that's fine, because it's all based on your experiences and how you do things and what you've done. I mean, but like I said, I don't think we should ever limit ourselves when it comes to any of it. I mean, I would really like to. I heard stories on podcasts of people doing that ayahuasca, and Native Americans did it, and they had like these spiritual epiphanies where they claim to have seen God or whatever. And
isn't that everybody who smokes, drops acid, and does?
Like, because if you believe that meditation can elevate you, what's to say that chemically altering your brain can't put you in that altered state of communication?
You don't know.
This is what I'm saying. It's like everybody's so quick to like, no. And I get it, because no one wants to be looked at as, and there are, again, they use this analogy, a very, very old analogy of what was called the flashlight technique. And everybody and their mother did this when the time it was being used. It was on Ghost Hunters every week. Amy Bruni was doing it with Chris Williams. They were doing it all the time. So everybody else was doing this thing. You would take a mag light, and this is, again, what people, they don't describe even like the type of flashlight. A mag light is a screw light. You turn it to turn it on, you twist it to turn it off. That's a mag light. And again, they're not like, yes, you can buy them at the dollar store or whatever, but they're a specific kind of flashlight. Other flashlights are push button on the top or on the side. mag lights you twist. So the idea between this method was you would take a mag light, twist it barely to the point where it was turning on and off. You'd put it down on a flat surface and you'd ask the spirit to tap on it to turn it on. And everybody did it. Everybody did do it. And everybody said, oh my God, the spirits are answering. Right. So people did take it a step further. I was one of them. We actually, at the time when everybody was doing this, we bought red, blue, and silver flashlights. And we would literally say to the spirits, red for yes, two, whatever, blue for red for no, blue for whatever, silver for no, and whatever for maybe or whatever. And we would literally go, okay, you turn that one on to answer. Could you turn the blue one on to validate that answer and answer yes? Bing. Now, again, in theory, science-wise, yes, they heat up, they expand, they contract. It's proven the light does. But in theory, the spirit could, in theory, touch that, tap that light like a cat ball and turn that on. In theory. Not every time. Yes, you're going to get false positives because they do malfunction. But in theory, it could be spirit from time to time. But yes, you're better off.
And not that's if they're reacting directly.
But you're better off not even using them,
right? Because you know that there's a fault with them.
It's a mechanical fault. So yes, but at the time, everybody was using them. Yeah, everybody was using them, and we just had it at the Creeper Gallery. That thing was a push button, man. Yeah, that thing turning on and off. That wasn't even somebody pressing the button to turn it on and off. That was somebody, probably Mike, taking every bit of that energy and then throwing it right back in it.
That was it's
strange. Out of it out and putting it back in it. It was very, very cool to see. But again, everything starts from somewhere as far as experimenting. I'm all for it. The more experiments you do and the more things you try.
Dan brought up a great point in that thing about there might be something that needs to be even more sensitive that we haven't discovered. Like we don't know what that level of getting them to react or reaching them is yet.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
What?
Sterling Hill Mining Museum is on Mysteries of the Museum now.
Really?
Yeah, they've been on.
They're on a lot of stuff.
They've been on a lot of shows, and it's cool. Again, that we're able to do what we do there. But this is why I don't watch live streams and I don't watch other people's podcasts, because I would sit there talking about all these paranormal shows while I was watching them, and I do the same when I'm watching people's live streams, and I don't want to, like I said, disrespect their views and their opinions, because I wouldn't want someone doing that to me. It's just I preach from what works for me and for my beliefs and the things I've done and the results I think I've gotten. But there may be others out there that are like, no, I wouldn't. Is what it is. But I'm all about options of communication. I've been that way for years in this field. And I explain that to people when they challenge me or they say stuff about it. I'm like, my belief is it's not about the lights and the bells and the whistles for entertainment purposes. That's not why I'm doing it at all. I want to give them every single option for interaction and communication, just like I would like a child, to put things down on the floor to see if they can hit the piano ding, ding, ding one time, or hit the button on the, speak and spell thing, or, same kind of concept of just a child may not have the development of language yet and saying all the words they want to say. But if I put a bunch of things on the floor and there's a toddler down there and I spun the little thing on the, the crossbar and they did it, well, guess what? They're trying to interact with me on a level that they just understood, and they know that I'll understand because they're mimicking what I just did. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
Truth seeker, people. Truth seeker. I know. I'm rambling. Eagles are going to lose.
Enjoy walking the dog, Christina. Out
Christina,
in this nice
those
cold.
Eagles are going to lose. I don't know if they'll lose to Washington, but unfortunately, the Chiefs will probably beat them. I'm hoping the Bills, but I don't think that's going to happen either. But anyway, I didn't mean to go on a tangent. I was just, again, talking about the things I see and kind of how I feel about things. So that was our big wrap up of the Sterling Hill Mine. And
I do hope that you guys, it'll be the first time that Jawan will be at the Sterling Hill Mine. And John just announced that it's in March. What's the date? March
29th. It's been posted over and over.
So if you guys want a chance to experience that for the first time, it's Jawan's first time there, to experience that with him, definitely send an email to NewJerseyParanormal@yahoo.com and request those tickets, because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Probably
Jawan's very involved in investigations.
Yeah, close to more than half, almost 2/3 have sold. So
really,
if you want to do that, then request it now, get in on that, because it's going to be a good time. Like I said, he impressed me when we were at Camp Edmonds, how much he was involved and how good he's with everyone, and how he even tolerated someone going, "Who are you? What show are you on?"
He's engaged. He wants to discover if there's something there. He's not somebody who stands to the side. He's very involved. So if you guys come in whatever group you're in with him, he's part of it.
But that's a whole nother point, Deb. I even have questions about that part of it, but I don't want to keep going down that rabbit hole. Whether or not language matters on the other side, it's again another what if, because some people believe spirits can communicate through telepathy, or there's a lot of what ifs, but that's a story for another night. When we come back, there will probably be another Creeper Gallery this week. Not sure which night, whether that's tomorrow or Wednesday. Tell you what happened to me last time. That damn New Hope police, they got me. You have to pay to park in New Hope. There's an app you use, and we do it every week. And whenever we go there, we were rushing to get inside because there was no heat in the building. We wanted to turn the heat on. I forgot to set the app. She reminded me like 3 minutes after we brought everything in. Did you put the app? I did it. We went on about our business. We go back to the car, and there's a ticket on my car. $35. 3 minutes. I missed it by. He was there 3 minutes before I hit the app. And I got a $35 ticket.
You must have been walking down and watched us get out of the car.
Plus I paid $8 for the parking.
Yeah, so they got you for $40 easy. Over $40.
But anyway, yeah, it'll probably be Creeper Gallery tomorrow or Wednesday night.
Well, if tomorrow's going to be the super cold day, I'm not going to the Creeper Gallery when it's super cold.
Truth seeker.
Well, then you can.
The leader leads. The leader can lead herself right on the couch or sit over there. But truth seeker.
I just said I was not going out in that cold.
For the people.
Well, so, I am the leader, as she said, and my butt is going to stay out of that kind of cold.
So look for that either tomorrow or Wednesday, either night.
Is it warm on Wednesday?
I don't know. There are a few more things that need to be investigated, and they're starting to kind of not pile up, but there are 3 or 4 or 5 things that we should get to. So
yeah,
we'll be back there. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, the only event that is available right now as we speak, Sterling Hill Mine with Jawan Mass from Ghost Brothers, March 29th. So New Jersey Paranormal at yahoo.com. Get those tickets now, and hopefully we'll see you there. You saw the videos. Joanne will be in the mine. Joanne will be in all those buildings. So it'll be a good time.
Have a good night. Stay warm. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And please remember to be kind to each other. Good night, everybody.